This week on Doodling with Purpose, we're adding a new feature, which is building vocabulary. Because so far we've been learning to draw the glyphs, we've been learning how to read the glyphs, the order that they go in, what different ways they can be written, the elastic nature, the difference between determinatives and ideograms. Well, if we're going to put sentences together, we're going to have to start building a vocabulary. And the best way to do this is with flashcards, or at least notes. So I highly encourage you to take notes, create flashcards of all of the words we've been learning, go back and do it for all the words that we have learned, because this is what's going to contribute to actually being able to fully read monuments and Egyptian work. So let's jump into it. All right, here's our first word for today, and we're only going to do 3 words per lesson to make it easy before we get into some new material. So to first look at the order of reading, we're going to do 1, 2, and 3. So this would be pronounced mer with the ho, the mouth, and the person determinative pointing to their mouth, meaning something that comes out of the mouth or an emotion. So this is love or beloved. And it's not pronounced mer love, because if you remember, when you have a single consonant that repeats the sounds of a double consonant, then that is just there as a memory jogger. So we just need to pronounce mr, mer, which means love. All right, and the next word we're going to move on to is another example of canceling out repeated sounds, but this time we have a triple consonant sound starting it off. So as far as word order, we're looking at 1, the heart, 2, the horned viper, and 3, the mouth. So if you're going to put all of these together, it's going to be pronounced nefer fur, or nefer, which means good. A very important one. And just as we discussed, when you have repeat sounds with the horned viper and the R, so it's not nefer fur, it's just nefer. You could just write this with the first glyph, the 3 consonant sound, but it's often written with all 3 in order to take up space. So we'll cancel out the second F and the R to just pronounce good as nefer, with 3 glyphs representing it. Again, you could just use that first glyph if you wanted. All right, next up we're going to get to use our Scarab Glyph, which is one of my absolute favorites, followed again by the mouth glyph, and you'll start to notice which glyphs tend to appear over and over again and are more common. So, pronouncing this, it would be hooper. Hooper for the scarab and R for the mouth, but just like we did with the last 2, if we have a single consonant following a double or triple, you cross it off. So hooper means become, like to become something. Hooper. You could just obviously do this with the scarab, but again, for sake of space. All right, this is going to lead us right into today's lesson. So here we have 3 glyphs together, and this is an important one, especially for, what we're going to do in a moment. So order of reading, we have renup, t, and sp. You have the reed, you have the loaf, and you have the crop circle. This means year, or regional year, reniptsp. There's no crossing off here because they're all original sounds. There's no sound consonants, or complements, So you're going to pronounce every single letter. And this is also a very important word because we're going to see it showing up in a lot of stela and a lot of monuments, noting the years that different pharaohs ruled. So reniptsp. All right, so with that, let's learn into something new this week, and we're going to start learning how to count, because now that we know how to say year, we need to know how to write dates. So Egyptian numerals are actually pretty simple. The first 9 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, are all written with strokes. 1 stroke for 1, 2 for 2, 5 for 5, 7 for 7, 8, and 9. Similar to Roman numerals, where you have 3 strokes, but in this case you can go all the way up to 9 strokes. Once you get to 10, you're going to draw a little horseshoe, which is 10. You already know W, the wind, which is 100. You already know the papyrus, which can be 1,000, and we'll teach you the finger and the tadpole and the man with his hands up in the air, which are 10,000, 100, and a million. But we'll get to those. We're going to start with the simple ones. So let's look at 10, 1, and 1,000 for the moment. So, and yes, I probably should have done 1, 10, and 1,000, but hey, what's reading order have to do with it? So, all easy to draw. The 10 and the 1 through 9 are signs that you could pretty much do on your own. 1,000, we already know that sign. We learned it during the actual glyphs. That also translates to ha, but in this case it means 1,000. So, if you have a horseshoe with a stroke under it, that's 11, because the horseshoe equals 10 and the stroke equals 1. 2 horseshoes with 3 strokes is 10 plus 10, 20, and then the 3 strokes are 3, so 23. See, it's pretty much just counting, with each horseshoe equaling 10 and each stroke equaling 1. So here we have 3 horseshoes and 9 strokes, 39. So try practicing with this and creating some numbers, 1 through 99, and we'll get into more next week and also learn the glyphs for the more complicated numbers, or rather the new glyphs that mean 10, 100,000, and 1 million. And we'll put it all together, and then we'll know how to write any number we'd like in ancient Egyptian. Well, at least any number up to, I guess, several million. All right. A like for this video is always appreciated because it tells YouTube to share it with more people. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll answer them to help clarify questions you may have on how to doodle with purpose, learn your hieroglyphics, and we'll keep going on this journey. Thanks for watching.